What's up, everyone? I must first of all apologize for my extended absence, and I don't really have any good excuses for one, so like I said, I apologize. I did try to make a video, right around the training camp period, and I was recording the whole thing, and then my iPad ran out of memory, and it stopped in the middle of it, and I got really frustrated, and I just deleted it. So I don't know if any of you can relate to anything like that, but that's how that went down. But it's week one, and I'm back. Let's talk about the Bills. We got a lot of changes for the Bills. I haven't really talked about any of them. We got Rob Ryan in. If you didn't see that coming, you played yourself. Mario Williams is gone. Should have seen that coming too. Leos McKelvin's gone. Nigel Bradham's gone. Manny Lawson's gone. Maybe a little bit of a surprise. I don't really look at it as much of a surprise, I guess. Maybe a little bit of a surprise, but a big deal, let's say. I don't think it's that big of a deal, despite the fact that, the Bills are kind of thin at linebacker. The surprising part of it would be that Rex kind of touted Manny Lawson a lot in the offseason, a lot last year. And, but he's a 33-year-old linebacker, and Lorenzo Alexander's played all right. And he, you don't know what the pending suspension might be with Manny. Maybe they know more about that. How often does Rex not comment on the situation? And he didn't comment on that situation. So maybe there's something we don't know about, but wouldn't worry about it. I know there are things you're worried about. Some of the concerns you might have for the team, suspensions for Marcel Darius. Chantrell Henderson got handed a 4-game suspension, which don't get me started on the marijuana policy and whatnot. I know it's a rule, and that's fine. Honestly, it might be a little outdated. You should know the rules. I know Chantrell was taking it because of his battle with Crohn's disease. It is what it is. The rules are the rules. I just don't think, the NFL is not the police. So I know it's illegal, but like I said, NFL, you're not the cops. So I could go on and on about that, but I'm going to stay focused on the task at hand. Carlos Williams was cut. I guess, if you would have told me that 3 months ago, I would have been super surprised, I suppose. But the dude just couldn't mature. He hasn't hung on with another team yet, so clearly there's something weird going on with him. He gained a lot of weight, got suspended, maybe was putting weight back on, I don't know. And then the Bills were just like, they said it was performance-based. It's a nice little out, I guess, to have, but they just sort of cut the head off there. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. Jonathan Williams had played well in the preseason. You got Gillislee. You got Reggie Bush now. You got Shady, obviously. That doesn't mean they don't have consistency on offense. Despite losing Carlos Williams' 9 touchdowns, the line is the same. The weapons are the same. They even added Reggie Bush. Greg Salas is in the mix there. Marquise Goodwin, healthy, might actually play a role. But the biggest story, obviously, would be Tyrod, who is now the guy. He got the extension. This is his team. He led them through the offseason. That said, the Bills still have a way out. They have that clause in the contract. They have to pick it up or opt in and pay him something like $27 million next year. So Tyrod still has to prove himself to the front office. Not so much to the team. I think he's very well liked on the team. He's one of them quiet leaders. I love him personally. I think he fits the team. He fits the attitude of the team. And don't go on with the suspension garbage and whatnot. You can't be a babysitter. I think Tyrod in the locker room is a major leader for that team. But like I said, he still has to prove himself to the front office. He needs a big year. I don't want to be sitting here in February the Bills went 8-8 again, and now they got a $27 million decision to make on Tyrod Taylor. How good of a season did he have? And just don't let me end up there. Just put me out of my misery at 5-11, or put me in the playoffs. Or even, you know what, if they go 10-6, don't make the playoffs, I'm probably not going to blame Tyrod. I'd pick up the option. But that's way down the line. What about the Bills? Last year, they led the league in rushing. They led the league in penalties. So, what do we want to see more from the offense? At least me personally. Throw the ball more. We just talked about Tyrod. You gave him the contract, gave him the money. Let him play. Let him off the leash a little bit. Not that, I don't know if you kind of really had him on one, but you called a lot of running plays last year. Was it 54, 56% of the time? Maybe flip that. Throw the ball a little bit more. The league throws the ball. That's what they do. That's how they win. The Broncos, fluke. Total fluke. Don't expect the Bills to win the Super Bowl by... Stop. Don't expect the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Period. Don't expect anybody to win the Super Bowl by strictly on defense and poor quarterback play. The Broncos are the anomaly. They did it. I don't want the Bills to neglect LaShawn McCoy, though. I expect a big year from Shady. He is healthy. He is in shape. He's slimmed down. Very cautiously optimistic, as long as he stays healthy, that he's going to have a fantastic season. But you got to learn about Tyrod, like I said. You got to find out. Let him go. The schedule seems tougher this year on paper with the AFC North and the NFC West. But I'm not interested in that as an excuse. Things change from year to year. You never know what injuries are going to befall on teams and whatnot. So go get can the Bills win the division? Probably not, even though Tom Brady's suspended for 4 games. But go get a wild card. Like, who's better than the Bills in the AFC? Who is definitely better than the Bills? The Pats with Brady. Pittsburgh. Cincinnati probably. Although, they peak. Cincinnati's have they peaked? I don't know. They lost Marvin Jones, Mohamed Sanu. They lost some pieces. Have they peaked? Maybe. Denver, maybe. But Simeon, the quarterback, and that's an X factor. Kansas City, maybe. Yeah, Kansas City might be better than the Bills. But the Bills were in that game in Kansas City last year. So I don't think they can't. I think the Bills can compete with anybody. This week, they have to compete with Baltimore. They open the season in Baltimore. M&T Bank Stadium. Rex Ryan in his return. Tyrod Taylor in his return to the team that drafted him. So there might be some added motivation there for the two of them. Maybe more so for Tyrod to show the Ravens fans what they're missing out on. The Ravens are coming off a 5-11 season that was just injury-ridden. They were 25th in points for, 24th in points against. Just not a good year for them. Flacco tore his ACL. Steve Smith tore his Achilles. Justin Forsett broke his arm. Terrell Suggs played only 11 snaps. And he had another Achilles injury. So they all missed time. They're older. All these guys are coming off of injury. But the main question for me is, were they even that good to begin with? People are going to make the excuses. Joe Flacco tore his ACL. Okay. And Justin Forsett broke his arm. Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty... Well, what did you guys do before that? Oh, we were 3-7. Okay. Flacco was not having a great year statistically. He was under pressure. He had a 48% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So there you go. There's a key statistic to me right there. Steve Smith, receiver, played in 7 games, tore his Achilles. They were 2-5 in games he started. I just don't think they were that good. After Forsett got hurt, and granted, I know they're playing with Matt Schaub and Jimmy Clausen and Ryan Mallett. They only had 1 rushing touchdown in the final 8 games. That's who they have. Forsett is back. Buck Allen and Terrence West. Kenneth Dixon isn't going to play. So that's who they had, and they only had 1 rushing touchdown. They made 1 improvement on the line, I guess, with Ronnie Stanley. Looks like he's going to be an outstanding left tackle. Marshall Yonda's probably the best guard in football. John Urschel's there. Rick Wagner, I guess, had a down year. Statistically, I think. I just remember him being rated pretty highly in 2014 and not so highly last year. Pro Football Focus, great website. I think you all know that. All that said, Ravens, they went 5-11. I'm talking them down right now. 14 of the 16 games they played in were decided by 8 points or less, 1 score or less. So they're in games, even with all those injuries, even with losers at quarterback and whatnot. I already talked about the running back by committee with Forsett, West, Allen, and the line. That could be a strength for them this year. They have to keep Flacco out of pressure. Obviously, I told you the numbers of him while he was under pressure. They're not good. So, there's your goals right there. They got some kind of a wide receiver by committee. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know who's going to play. Rashad Perriman was a rookie last year, didn't play at all. He's back. Mike Wallace is there now. We know that Flacco likes vertical targets like Torrey Smith and whatnot. Mike Wallace, very comparable player. Steve Smith is back. Kamar Aiken had a breakout year last year. Devin Hester's there now. Here's my quick thing on Devin Hester. Stop being worried about Devin Hester. Make me eat my words, Devin Hester. He's 33 years old. He has one kickoff return touchdown since 2008. What are we so concerned about? I know don't get me wrong, I still think special teams matter. Maybe not as much as some other people do. I'll be interested to see how teams attack kickoffs now because the touchback has moved up to the 25. So maybe Hester gets some chances to return one. But he's 33. He's coming off a toe injury. He missed 11 games. Are we really... he didn't get signed until this past week. And now we're worried about him because we have to play him this week? The whole league passed him over until this past week. Think about that. That's it. That's where I'm ending with that. Maybe he makes me eat my words, and you guys will laugh at me on Twitter. Just like my 6-game losing streak to start my predictions last year. Whatever. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Defense, they added Eric Weddle. They're going to be without Elvis Dumerville this week. Suggs should be back. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. He's coming off his second Achilles injury, though, so how is he going to respond to that? I do like some of their other linemen with Timmy Jernigan and Brandon Williams. I think they're nice players. I don't know if they're great players or, blue chip players or whatever, but they're nice players. C.J. Mosley is there. But, in the front seven, I guess, wasn't exactly a strength for them last year. I think that they expected more out of Mosley. They might have even expected more out of Jernigan, to be honest with you. I don't know if they progressed the way that the Ravens had hoped. I do think the secondary is still suspect. Webb moved to safety, so we don't know how that's really going to go. Their cornerbacks are Sharice Wright and Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith sometimes is very good. Sometimes makes you think he's going to be one of the better corners in the league, but is very inconsistent and has battled injuries. So I don't know how he's going to show up, especially against Sammy Watkins. And I think no matter what, I think Sammy Watkins is better than him. All in all, I feel like the Ravens they feel more like a team headed towards a decline than a team that's heading towards a peak. And I think that the Bills can take advantage of that. I think the Bills are the better team. Bottom line, I think the Bills, in my opinion, are better than the Baltimore Ravens. And if they're playoff bound, the Bills, they win this game on Sunday. And the Ravens probably think the same thing. The Bills, they honestly, they sort of need the game. If you're a playoff team, this is a conference record is the first tiebreaker, and for wild cards. So they're other than the head-to-head. So if you lose to the Ravens, you have to finish a game better than the Ravens, which means you're already a game behind. So I guess you got to get 2 games on them. I don't know if they're good, but whatever. And overcome the conference record. So I think they should win. The Bills should be able to use their athleticism on offense, their youth and athleticism on offense, to take advantage of an older in spots, coming off of injury, inexperienced in other spots on defense. I want to see our defense in attack mode. I'm excited to see the secondary back in full. Aaron Williams is back. Darby, Gilmore, who missed the last 4 games last year. Graham, the guys, a lot of safeties made the team. Blanton and Meeks and Duke Williams even had a pretty good preseason. I know that the linebackers are a little thin. Preston Brown's there. Zach Brown. Brandon Spikes is back. And they complement one another pretty well. Let's see what kind of, let's see, guys. What's Adolphus Washington got? I don't know. Can't wait till Shaq Lawson's back. Bummed about Ragland. Wanted to see him in this defense, but this is what we got. So let's see. Bills, Ravens, prediction time. Bills, beat the Ravens. 24-20, basic standard score. Guys, let me know what you think. My Twitter handle is the same as my username for YouTube. You can follow me there. I answer just about everybody. Even if your comments are stupid, at least I try to. So, it's week 1. I'm excited. If you're watching this, you came this far, really thank you. I know you're excited. Let's talk about it, guys. All right? Thanks for welcome me back. And above all else, go Bills.